Hi, everyone. It's Carolyn Moore from the Modern Widows Club, and we are in the month of June 2019. And we have a new topic, and that is honoring legacy. And we're going to talk about International Widows Day on June 23rd. I would say pretty much a day like International Widows Day exists because of all the women like us who are widowed around the world, who are wanting to honor the love and the memory of those that have passed and died in our lives. Honoring your legacy is a very big topic for me because Modern Widows Club exists because that is the way I learned to honor Chad's memory. And so this is a month that carries a lot of emotions because it is Father's Day, of course, on June 16th. And also then we move into June 23rd, and people ask me often, why does an International Widows Day even need to exist? And I didn't know the answer to that either. It started in 2010, and I started learning a little bit more about it and why widows need this day of recognition and awareness. I had the honor to be there when the Global Widows Report was presented to the United Nations for consideration of really recognizing the plight of widows around the world. I'm from the United States, and probably most of you are, but around the world, widows, it's a real human rights issue. It's a real gender inequality issue. And it ends up being, the quality of life a person actually is living, a woman is living with her family after a loss of a spouse. We're actually, even though we have a lot of cracks in the system here in the U.S., we still are a powerful and resourceful country. When I went to the United Nations, I actually met a lot of widow advocates from around the world, and I learned. My eyes were opened in a way that I could never really go back to before. But what I know is that real change for a group, a community of anyone who feels that they aren't being heard, and aren't being seen, is that it really starts with us. It starts with us understanding why does that exist, and how could I be involved in making a change in that way. And that really is how Modern Widows Club started. A long time ago when Chad was actually dying, I leaned in and I said, I'm going to keep these 3 promises, to always keep my daughters first and foremost in all the decisions I make, and to honor your name in which I carry forward, and to find a way to be genuinely loving again. And my life has, fast forward 19 years, has found all of those. Was really a great promise to myself to keep. And so what I have seen women do in Modern Widows Club is find all these amazing different ways of honoring their spouses. And it's such a beautiful it's just such a beautiful community of so many different ways that can happen. I'm actually in Nashville, Tennessee right now, filming this because I'm, up here planning a fall fundraiser for us and our chapter leader conference at the same time, and we have so many connections here, and people here really love Modern Widows Club. And so what I have found is I have to go and connect with the people who care. And that's probably the best advice I could give anyone who wants to figure out how to honor their husband's memory and carry that forward. Figure out what your niche is. We've had, like Cindy in Seattle, she loves getting oil change cards. Her husband was a mechanic, and so every year she gives oil change cards to widows. There are women who go on mission trips because that is something that was very close to the heart of the person that they loved. I love seeing how it really manifests and changes the world as we see it today. It makes the world a better place when we honor those that we have lost. And so International Widows Day is just a whole day, June 23rd, about raising awareness, sharing our stories, telling about how important it was to have a community like Modern Widows Club and how it changed us. And now where are we compared to where we were when we were newly widowed and feeling alone and isolated? It's all of those stories together on that day that make it such a powerful point in history. You really probably won't hear about International Widows Day like you hear about International Women's Day because it's just not covered in the media. And so we, in a lot of ways, become the public relations ourselves together. None of you are a mystery. You know it's a mystery that people do not want to talk about widows. They don't want to talk about death. A lot of what lives in our world every day, people just don't know the experience until it's happened to them. So it is up to us to raise the awareness that is necessary. And we do it with grace, and we do it with grit and raw honesty and courage and strength. And that's what people will remember, thinking, wow, if this ever happens to me, I am going to walk my path like that woman. And that's you creating now your legacy with the love that your loved one gave you. So figure out what you want to do on that day to share, but the hashtags we're using are Widows Day 623 because it's June 23rd, and also hashtag Modern Widows Club. So on June 23rd, we're just asking for you. There's actually an event, a virtual event, International Widows Day. If you go to the Facebook page for Modern Widows Club, you'll see that there. Just sign up for that so you'll be there for all the updates. And then there's also a page on our website. For those of you who have never been to modernwidowsclub.org or .com, go on there. We have a header now for International Widows Day, and you can learn more about the things that we talk about. And there's a video there of me hitting the streets, asking people if they can pick the widow, and it's a really interesting video about what people think about widows. And it really surprised me when I went out and just asked complete strangers, what does a widow look like? Can you pick her off this board? But it was really wonderful also to see how many people cared about widows that just really had never been given the opportunity to talk about them. So that's this month, and I hope that you have kicked off your summers. It's been raining here. But, I know it's hot and everyone's busy during the summer doing, things out of the ordinary, not with the normal routine. But if that's, if you are fortunate enough to have a chapter, make sure you attend and reach out to your leaders and maybe do some summertime, get-togethers that are out of the norm. And, I just want to thank our leaders, and I want to thank all of our board and our advisory council. They have been working so hard this year. And we hope, in the future, in the next, 12 months, we'll be launching some new chapters. We certainly are looking forward to Widow Empowerment Event 2020 and be looking for those things in the future. But also just tell widows about this organization. We are, almost everyone learns about this organization word of mouth. This is what I'm learning as I talk to widows at all of our different chapter locations. And so we're just growing. We're growing slowly and steadily. And unfortunately, the world is never going to have a shortage of widows, but we together can do widowhood much better in a healthy trajectory. And that's really what we're here to do, is learn how to do that together. So I love you guys. Thank you so much for being in this community and being there for each other. It is so heartwarming to see all of your photos and stories and connections. And that's really what it's all about. Yeah. So love you guys. I'll see you in July. Signing off.